This short video pertains to products made by Manitech which impact on the cardiovascular system. The product is called Cardiovascular. And Cardiovascular does a bunch of really important things. They come as capsules, and they make a huge difference as to our energy level and everything else because, number one, it helps maintain normal homocysteine levels. Cardiovascular contains nutrients that promote health by maintaining healthy homocysteine levels. Over 500 studies have been published in the medical literature about the dangers of homocysteine, and it's 5 times more deadly. Elevated homocysteine is 5 times more deadly than elevated cholesterol levels. Secondly, it maintains our healthy artery walls and strong heart muscles. Unfortunately, many people's diets supply enough vitamin C and bioflavonoids to prevent scurvy, but not enough to promote healthy blood vessels. Number 3, it helps maintain circulation through our body's 60,000 miles of blood vessels. It also helps maintain normal blood flow and heartbeat rates. It helps maintain normal blood pressure, and it helps maintain normal cholesterol levels. In fact, 2 of the ingredients are especially interesting. One of them is TMG. It's an amino acid, and it lowers plaque-forming homocysteine and also increases detoxifying liver enzymes. It also increases antioxidant glutathione levels. The second ingredient is the hawthorn berry, which has been used since the Middle Ages to support the heart and normalize cardiovascular function. The hawthorn berry increases blood flow to the heart and brain and protects the heart from irregular beats, enhances the strength of the heart's contractions, and it's also rich in bioflavonoids, which relax and dilate the arteries. These compounds increase the flow of blood and oxygen to the heart, and this, of course, reduces the work required by the heart to circulate the blood. Components in hawthorn have been shown to lower cholesterol as well and the amount of plaque in arteries. So that's the Cardiovascular. Now that also leads us to vitamins and minerals. And what do vitamins and minerals do? Well, they're very important, of course, for our health, and but a lot of them are synthetic. And this company, Proevity, is a research education organization, and they have a little booklet out on how to evaluate vitamin and mineral products and what to look for. Well, Manitech is the only company that provides all natural or whole food sources for their vitamins, standardized vitamins with labeled ingredients, standardized all natural vitamin complexes with labeled sources, standardized minerals with labeled ingredients, standardized plant source minerals with labeled sources, and standardized phytochemicals with labeled amounts. And so there's not a better product on the market in terms of vitamin and minerals. In fact, here in the corner you can peel back the label, and there's so much other good stuff in here that doesn't fit on the front of the label that they've had to put it in the back. And you don't need huge amounts because they're bioavailable, they're food form. Let me kind of explain what that means. If your vitamin mineral complex has USP on the back, that stands for United States Pharmacopoeia, which means your products are synthetic, the vitamins in any case. They're made in a test tube. For example, if you think you've bought vitamin C, you read on the back of the label it's actually ascorbic acid, which can barely deal with scurvy, for example. If you're getting calcium, it might be calcium carbonate, which is powdered sidewalk. It's limestone. Calcium sulfate is basically plaster like sheetrock, and calcium phosphate is chalk like a teacher uses at the blackboard. You want calcium in food form that your body can assimilate. It's like iron. I eat spinach so I get iron. I don't chew on a nail. The problem is not only are most vitamins made in the laboratory, but most minerals are mined out of the ground. They're just dirt. It's rocks. And it doesn't matter how small you grind the rocks to nano sizes, rocks is still rocks, and our body's not made to absorb rocks in that form. When Linus Pauling won the Nobel Prize in Medicine for discovering the importance of vitamins and minerals for the body, the human body, for health and wellness, a lot of manufacturers started digging dirt out of mines and putting them in big sacks, magnesium, copper, iron, etc., and shipping them to the people who would put them into capsules and tablets and a nice label on the bottle and then sell them to folks. Well, you got about 10% absorption. I'm not even sure you wanted that amount. But you get very little for your money. And so at the end of the 80s and into the 90s, they started chelating the minerals because the body won't absorb dirt. I mean, if we could eat dirt, we wouldn't have to eat food. So we're supposed to let the plants eat the dirt, and then we eat the plants, or we eat the cows that eat the plants, but we aren't supposed to eat the dirt. And so minerals back then were just dirt. Well, in the 80s and 90s, they decided to chelate the minerals. Chelate is a Latin word for claw, like a lobster claw. So the idea was that they'd grab the dirt, whatever it was, magnesium, manganese, etc. We do need these, trace minerals in our body, but we got to have them in food form. Nonetheless, they would bind the dirt to an amino acid because the body's going to absorb amino acids because you make proteins out of them and enzymes, etc. And so they'd use a beta bond to lock the dirt to the amino acid, knowing the body would try and absorb the amino acid. Well, that way they thought they could smuggle in the dirt. That didn't work very well either. The body's pretty smart, and it doesn't want dirt. So Manitech took a look at the situation and did a literature search and discovered that the Russians had done a lot of research and discovered how they were going to try to clean up Chernobyl. Remember when the nuclear power plant erupted, it sprayed plutonium and uranium all over the region. And it's a beautiful region. We aren't talking about Siberia or northern Russia somewhere. This is a farming area. It has a lot of produce. It has a lot of grazing. They do want to reclaim the land, but it's hard because the soil is so contaminated. So their research indicated that the wild Indian mustard would absorb more dirt than any other plant by volume. Jesus talked about what's as small as a mustard seed and yet grows large enough quickly for birds to nest in. And sure enough, the Indian mustard would absorb huge amounts of dirt. So the Russians would seed the region from the air, and then let the Indian mustard grow. And it would scarf up, it'd soak up all this plutonium and uranium, and then they'd go in and quickly harvest it, and then ship that to Siberia when nobody cares. And so in that fashion, they're beginning to reclaim Chernobyl, the region, the land, for the intended use of cultivations, farming, and grazing. Well, Manitech thought if the Indian mustard can soak up the bad dirt, it can soak up the good dirt too. And so Manitech did a lot of research to find out what ratio of dirt, minerals, would optimize human health. And then when the sacks came from our suppliers, we didn't put them into capsules and tablets and try and sell them like everybody else. We actually poured them into troughs, these wet troughs, and then we grew the Indian mustard hydroponically out of these troughs. Now, we know what the end result's going to assay out as because we control the input. And sure enough, we end up with standardized amounts of minerals in food form. In a sense, they've been digested by the Indian mustard and turned into food, which is what plants do. So when you buy a bottle of Vitamatrix, you're basically eating Indian mustard. It doesn't taste like mustard, but it's got huge concentrations of these essential minerals to which they've added plant-sourced vitamins. So you end up with about 12 different plant-sourced vitamins and about 13 of the most essential minerals for optimal health. And it makes a huge difference. If your bottle of vitamins and minerals suggests that you don't take on an empty stomach, well, then that you take with food, it's probably because it's just dirt. And if you take dirt on an empty stomach, it'll upset your stomach, obviously. If you take it with a lot of food during a meal, then you won't notice that your stomach's upset by the dirt because it's busy processing real food. But with Vitamatrix, you can take this on an empty stomach and you won't have any problems at all. This is really good stuff. Now for the children, they've come up with, they've taken the plant-sourced foods and or vitamins and minerals, plant-sourced minerals and for the Vitamatrix, and they've turned it, and here's a fun little kind of seed packet with Vitamatrix samples in there that you can give to your friends. But they've made this available in a product for children called glycobears. And glycobears have 26 vitamins and minerals that are essential for the health of your kids. And so there's all sorts of information, additional information you can get on these vitamins and minerals for children. But for example, the #1 vitamin and mineral complex is Flintstones. And they've only got 19 vitamins and minerals, followed by Pokemon. And Pokemon has 19 as well. But ours provide the 26 that your child really needs, or grandchildren. So that is what impacts on the cardiovascular system, helps the heart and the circulation and everything function as well as it should.